Joyce Owor, and I'm a people developer. So wherever I am working, I'm really a people developer. I'm into business, but I'm a life coach, and I stir up gifting in everyone that is around me. And therefore, my whole life is about raising standards in people's lives, in institutions, wherever I have been called to, whatever vineyard it is, I raise standards in that place. And this week at Asifiwe International Academy, we have been looking at standards, a quest in which we can all rally together and become one as a unit. So it's been an exciting week of talking about standards. Where does it begin? What's God's heart about this whole thing on standards? And so watch with us this week. This is what we are doing, God's standards. And we go back to Genesis and see how God began this whole thing about standards. It's amazing. It says he created heavens and the earth. And then it tells us how then the Lord saw. Of course, there was darkness, and deep darkness covered the earth, and gross darkness covered the earth. And soon after that, in verse 3, he says, "Let there be light." Straight away, we see he's talking about standards. He's not settled even on what he created as God. God uses his wisdom. God uses his understanding. God uses knowledge to build about standards and to raise standards at any one time. And he just spoke. In his speaking, a lot of things are established. We see his leadership. We see his vision. We see processes. We see procedures. We just see how he establishes a whole system to be able to work together. And no system on its own can be, the best in itself. It has to work together to accomplish the high standard that God is talking about. And therefore we see how he evaluated. And that's the only way he can be able to see at the end of it. And God saw it was good. God saw it was good. Every now and then, we need to evaluate our own lives. Are we living up to that call, that high standard that God has called us to? Is that the food that we have? Because like Jesus, he said, "My food is to do the will of the Father." God's will is from glory to glory. God's will is a high standard. Are we on a mission to actually establish that high standard? And in his word, it says that we are the light of the world. A light cannot be hidden under a bushel. And that's why we arise as light. In this season, especially in the corona season, where there has been deep darkness, there has been a lot of despondency, there has been discouragement, even about every other system. We've seen all the systems fall to bits: financial systems, health systems, educational systems. And here we are on the education mountain. And the Lord is calling us to arise and set a high bar, a high standard. What are we going to do in this season? The challenge is we need to arise and shine and allow the light of God to shine and bring about the standards of our God. And at the end, we can say, "To God be the glory," because we are truly a sign and a wonder. God bless.
You love me too much, oh.